Hey, what's going on, individuals of the internet? My name is iCould2744, and if you have been waiting for the iPad 3, I have some really great news for you. Now, it has been rumored ever since the iPad 2 is released, pretty much, that the iPad 3 may very well have a Retina display on it. But as of just moments ago, Mac Rumors has officially confirmed that the iPad 3 is going to be, in fact, a Retina display. Now, we aren't sure whether or not this Retina display will floor up the prices of the device. I'm assuming it's going to stay the same, because that's usually how Apple works generation to generation with their products. Now, what they did is basically they were able to get their hands on the iPad 3 Retina display screen. That's it, just the screen, not the device. So they had to conduct tests underneath the microscope. What happened is my guess, since Mac Rumors has been known to get their hands on these parts of the devices actually before they even come out. They probably know some people in China that work at the factories in which the person probably stole the Retina display and then sold it to Mac Rumors. Mac Rumors got their hands on it, did some tests, and revealed that the iPad 3 will be officially a Retina display. Now, how they did this, because of the fact that they could not turn on the device and actually looked at the pixels with their bare eyes to measure how much better the iPad 3 screen will be compared to the iPad 1 or iPad 2 screen, is they basically had to put the iPad 3 screen underneath a microscope, and they did the same thing with the iPad 2 screen. Now, what they did is they highlighted a certain size cluster on the same exact area on both devices' screens, and they measured the pixels within that cluster, and it came out that the iPad 2 had 4 pixels within that cluster, and the iPad 3 had 16 pixels within that cluster. That comes out that the iPad 3 screen resolution will be 2048 by 1536 compared to the iPad 1 and the iPad 2, which, by the way, have the same screen resolution, has 1024 by 768. Once again, iPad 3 2048 times 1536, and the iPad 2 with 1024 times 768. The iPad 3 carries exactly twice the linear resolution of the iPad 1 and the iPad 2 with its pixels, which obviously signifies Retina display. And you know what? You're never really going to see the big difference, but there will be a big difference when they actually come out with the devices. Somebody will power them both on, and you'll see how much greater the iPad 3 Retina display looks compared to the iPad 2 regular display. Now, it was also rumored on side of that the iPad 3 will possibly have LTE, it'll possibly have better cameras, which is most likely, and the A6 processor, which is also very likely, and it has been mainly rumored that it will be released on March 7th on a special media event by Apple, so be expecting the iPad 3 with a Retina display.